So how do you think the Hello David, how are you?
I'm very good, mate. Very good. Happy to be here. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for doing this. So how long have you been a vegan for?
I've been a vegan for maybe 16 or 17 years, roundabouts. I lost count.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Long time.
Wow, yeah. So not many people were vegan back then. So what made you go vegan?
Well, I was born and raised as a vegetarian, actually. My mum was vegetarian because she believed that it was wrong to kill animals for food when she didn't need to. So she raised me with compassion for animals, and she raised me telling me the truth about animals. She'd tell me like, oh, well, see this dog? We love our dogs at home. The cows in the fields, in the ways that matter, they're just like our dog. Like, okay, they're a lot bigger. They're maybe a bit sillier sometimes, but ultimately, they don't want to be hurt. They want to look after their babies. They want to live free. They want to be cared for, right? Or at least not hurt, just like our dogs do. But people do hurt them, and they actually kill them for food. And so she taught me these things from a young age. So I was vegetarian for a long time, and then when I was about 19, I made the switch to become a vegan. And it was, from that basis that animals, right, they're not here for us to do these things to them, and we shouldn't be breeding them into captivity and abusing them and hurting them, killing them, all the things we do to them when we don't need to. We should respect them.
What sparked that change for you? What exactly made you think about that?
Veggie to vegan.
From veggie to vegan, yeah.
From veggie to vegan, right. So, well, it began for me as actually, I was quite stubborn. My mum was vegan before me, and she tried to show me, hey, look what's happening to cows, look what they do. In the dairy industry, I'd say, look, hey, milk doesn't kill cows, Mum. Come on, you're just being too sensitive. And she said, well, actually, they kill all the cows from the milk farms. They kill all of them. So that does kill. And it was like, okay, that doesn't feel good. And what else do they do then? Oh, well, actually, they're also constantly impregnating them because they need to keep them pregnant so they make more milk. Okay, that doesn't sound very good. Or what do they do with all these babies then? Well, they take them away from them because the babies want to drink that milk. What about if that baby's a boy? Well, one of two things will happen. One, they'll keep them around and use them as a bull. That's not so common for the other cows. There's three things that could happen. One, they keep him around as a bull for the other cows. Two, they send him off to the beef industry. He gets a little bit older and they kill him for meat. Or three, veal. What's veal, guys? You ever heard of veal? You know veal?
Not really. Most of the people don't know about that. So can you explain?
Veal is a type of meat. It's a specific type of beef that comes from baby cows. Very, very, very young cows. Okay, but so where's that going to come from then? Well, it's not a very profitable industry just to have small baby cows and kill them, for that specific purpose, because you don't get a lot of meat off the cow, right? So what do? Well, they just go to the dairy industry, and any male that's born in the dairy industry, that's going to become a veal cow. So they'll kill them as a little calf, as a little baby for the veal. So the dairy industry, the milk industry, kind of realized that it is the meat industry. And I learned similar things about the eggs, similar things about, all these other things that I was not aware of. But it was especially those three big ones, meat, dairy, and eggs. They're the things that we all do every single day. I'd already taken meat away, and I realized, what the hell, I'm being a hypocrite. Because I tell people, hey, I don't want to eat animals because I care about animals. I don't think we should hurt them. And then here I am consuming things that directly harm them still. So I changed, yeah.
What do you think has changed since you went vegan and now in 2025? Now you see this vegan camp out.
Yeah.
There's so many people here, so many food stalls, like more than 50 of them.
Yeah.
And 4 days of, just meeting like-minded people and sharing ideas. So how do you think that has changed over the past few years? What made people change and be where they are right now?
It's been a few things that have made people change. The thing is, right, normally what happens is the way people change, the way people, live their lives, it's that behavior comes first, is how it tends to be. So if you ask people, why do you eat meat? They'll come up with a reason that they didn't really think about before. People eat meat because they eat meat. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It just is, right? When a vegan says, why do you eat meat? Then they say, protein. But they weren't thinking that before. Do you understand? So we all work this way more or less. We behave one way and then we change our beliefs based on our behaviour. So what I think has happened in the UK especially, a lot of people have changed what they're eating, maybe for environmental reasons. So they're like, oh, I want to be good for the planet, I'm going to eat less meat, right? Health. A lot of people have realised that eating more plants and especially less processed meat, less processed animal products, you're going to be healthier, right? So they're already making these changes. And then they hear about the horrible things happening to animals.
Right, right.
And then they listen to these things and they're like, wait a minute, hold up. Sorry, how does farming work? Wait a minute. They're gassing pigs to death for pork in a gas chamber. That's how a lot of, in fact, the most pigs across the world are killed. So, and they're like, hold up a minute. So, I've already started eating less meat. I've already started to cut these products out for environmental reasons, for health reasons. And now I'm learning about gas chambers that kill pigs. Now I'm learning about all the cows and what happens to them in the dairy industry. Now I'm learning about how horrific the meat industry is and what it does to all these chickens and all these cows and all these pigs and these turkeys and goats and geese and ducks. And I'm like, all this death and this violence. And they're like, well, I'm already changing anyway. And so why don't I just go vegan? And I think here, especially in the UK, that's what's led to this. I don't think it's just that people have had this moral awakening. I think they've already been on the road to saying, hey, do you know what? I'm already changing. I don't want to be part of that violence. I'm going to change completely. And I think it's something that could, the whole world might be catching on with, hopefully, at one point as well. I mean, that's the goal for us, isn't it? Is to have everybody have this same sort of awakening.
How do you think the vegan campout as a festival helps the community, and how does it help the animals at the end of the day?
Well, this festival helps the community because it gives us all something to look forward to every year. This is vegan Christmas.
Absolutely, absolutely.
For Christians, you know. Or it's, what else? We've got vegan Ramadan for Muslims. It's, what do the Hindus have?
Diwali.
Diwali, vegan Diwali for the Hindus. Vegan Kwanzaa for the whichever religion that is. It's a religion in Africa, I think.
Wait, are you implying that veganism is a religion now?
Definitely not. Look, there are non-religious celebrations. Thanksgiving, right? This is vegan Thanksgiving. I'm using that as an example because we have these big collective celebrations once a year, and in all of our cultures, this for the vegans, this is our big cultural celebration. No matter who you are, where you're from, what language you speak, color of your skin, whatever you are, whatever, you could be anyone. This is where you come once a year, and you can meet people that are, variety, diversity of opinions, diversity of people, but we all have this common thing that bonds us. We've all made decisions and we've tried to change for animals, and we're trying to change the world for animals. And that bond is something that is really awesome here. It's an amazing celebration. So it really helps the vegans to come here and meet all different vegans and different people. And also there's people who aren't vegan here as well. And they get a massive benefit from being here because they're vegan curious. They're curious, like, what's veganism? And why are these people doing what they're doing? Why do they only eat plants? Why? They come here and they learn. And that takes me to the second point. Why does this help animals? How does this help animals? Raises a bunch of money for animal charities, number one. We have the education stage right here. We teach people a bunch of stuff, discuss a bunch of stuff, debate, discuss, educate, a bunch of different things. And as I just said, people who aren't vegan come here and they enjoy themselves and they eat all this amazing food and meet all these amazing people, and they see, like, hey, vegans are pretty chill. They're good people, nice people, compassionate people. I like vegans.
So a lot of people have this misconception about vegans as well, that they are. So what misconception do you think they have about vegans?
They think that we're stuck up. They think that we have a superiority complex. We think we're better than everybody. They think that we're weak, that we're sick. They think that we have suicidal empathy. They think that we're just empathetic to a fault. They think that we are. They think that if we ever got lost in a forest, we'd die because we would never kill an animal. They think all these things, and it's all not true. So starting off with the superiority complex. If vegans wanted to feel superior to you, we wouldn't try to convince you to go vegan. How does that make sense? If I want to be superior to you, I want you to not be a vegan so I can be superior to you.
Absolutely.
But in reality, I'm very happy you're a vegan, and I'm happy that if anyone out there is considering it, I'm happy. I want you to message me, DM me, let's talk about it, because I want you to help animals. I don't want to be better than you. I don't feel better than you. I want the world to change for animals. That's my only focus. I want a better world for animals. So no, superiority, no. Now, do some vegans feel superior? Do some vegans use this as a way to feel better? Of course, yes. Of course some do. Of course some people, look, there are strange people, there are not very nice people out there who are vegan, who aren't vegan. They exist, all right? But the vast majority of vegans are not doing this because they want to be better than you. I guarantee you that. All vegans are weak, dude. There's some monstrous vegans out here, some absolute beasts. I'm not one of them. I'm not a beast, but I am 6'2" and I weigh 95 kilos. So I'm not a small guy either, right? So we're not all weak and skinny. And actually, here we've got some chunky boys. We got some skinny guys. We got some muscle heads. We got some in betweens. We got some people with a little bit of cushion for the pushing. We got a good mix of people here. We're all. It's depending on what your goals are. If you want to be comfortable and you don't care about being super fit, you're going to get a little bit fat. If you're not a big eater, not a big foodie, you might be a bit skinny. If you're an athlete, you'll be shredded. You know what I mean? It's up to you, but you can have it all. What else did I say? What are the other misconceptions I gave you? There's two more maybe.
I think they are the main ones.
They're the main ones, And the other ones, I suppose, are a little bit silly. But they're the main ones, yeah. The last one. That vegans would die in a jungle or something, right? No. The vast majority of vegans here, if you said to them, hey, for example, if I asked the people watching, right, you're out there, you're lost in a jungle, there's no hope, and one of your friends has died, right? Are you going to die, or would you consider eating your friend? Now, in a horrific situation like that, you're going to consider eating. You're going to at least think about eating your friend. You might even do it. Does that mean you would do that in normal day-to-day life? No, because you're not a cannibal. Okay, and now apply that to veganism. Would I eat animals rather than die? Yes. Would most vegans eat an animal if it meant either dying or eating the animal? Probably yes. This isn't a death cult. You know what I mean? We're not a suicide cult, right? What we are is practical, reasonable people, and we've realized we can be perfectly healthy, athletic if you want, couch potato if you want, without hurting animals. Completely animal-free diet. We've figured it out. It's not that complicated. Do the research, ChatGPT, Google, log this stuff up, challenge22.com, an amazing website to get started. We figured that out. If the world suddenly went to hell, post-apocalyptic, there wouldn't be vegans anymore. Probably not, right? We'd have to do what we needed to do to survive. It's not an ideology. We're very practical, reasonable people. We just want to create a better world for animals if we can, and so happens we can. So
absolutely. So a lot of people have this misconception that veganism is a Western privilege, or the origins of veganism are from the West. And in the West, they have this notion that it's an Indian concept, that it somehow originated from India, or Hinduism, or Jainism, or Buddhism. And they usually try to stay away from these because they feel like it's an attack on their culture or on their lifestyle. So what do you have to say on that? Because we come from different backgrounds and we both are vegans. So how did that happen?
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't know where the origins of the real true origin of this idea of let's try and be better to animals comes from. I mean, I've heard of like 3,000-year-old philosophers who have some words to say about animals. I mean, even I can't remember his bloody name. The one who came up with like some mathematics stuff, like a really ancient Pythagoras. He's spoken about being vegetarian. And Leonardo da Vinci spoke about vegetarianism. So look, these ideas go back, and I don't think it really matters if an idea is good, right? If something is good, who cares where it came from? What matters is not, who's saying it? What country does it come from? Who cares? If it's a good idea, it's a good idea. If someone wants to tell me that veganism comes from, I don't bloody know, India, Bangladesh, I don't know, Thailand, I couldn't care less where it comes from. If it's a good idea, it's a good idea, and it is a good idea. And this idea that it's like, if it's from the West, so it's bad, it's not a mature way of thinking about things. Okay, so I'll give you an example of that. Who created electricity?
Tesla.
From?
Electricity.
From the West.
From the West, sorry.
The West. Who created the telephone?
Graham Bell.
From?
The West.
Okay. And so if someone is sat in India saying, oh, we don't like these Western ideas, well, stop using electricity, stop using telephones then. You know, it's silly.
The clothes I'm wearing, they're Western as well. The phone I'm using, the mic I'm using.
It's like, if it's a good thing, it's a good thing. If it's a bad thing, it's a bad thing. If a Westerner says something bad, you tell them your idea is bad, not because you're a Westerner, but because your idea is bad, and here's why, right? The same thing, if you come to me as an Indian and you give me a bad idea, I'm not going to tell you, oh, it's a bad idea because you're Indian. No, I don't care where you're from. It's a bad idea because it's a bad idea, and here's why. I think we need to get out of this mindset of like judging people based on where they're from or like an idea based on where it came from. It doesn't matter, you know? So I don't really care where the idea of being kind to animals and being, you know, for respecting animals and for justice for animals, I don't care where it came from. I'm just happy it exists. And I think we all should be happy it exists so that we can all try and make a difference for animals.
You make videos, you're an influencer, you speak up for the animals. Why do you do that? Why do you think you're going to dedicate your life for that cause?
Because nobody else will. As simple as that. Like, in terms of, if you look at charities around the world, it's about 99% of all charitable donations go to human causes. Around, I think it's like between 1 and 3% go to animal causes, and of that 1 to 3% of the donations, around like 1 to 2% of that is to help farmed animals. So think about how tiny that is. So like farmed animals have barely any funding to make their lives better, first of all, that's just welfare, but even less funding to actually look to actually changing the world so we don't do this to them anymore. So the tiny amount of funding that goes there is to just, I don't know, try and make cages bigger or try to make things like a little better for them, which, you know, that makes it more expensive for these industries. So it's good that happens, but there's barely any funding and barely any people that are actually just trying to change our food system so we don't rely on animals anymore. And so I'm one of a tiny group of people, and so are you, and we need more people to talk about this. They're actually the most neglected group of beings on this planet, by far, incredibly neglected. So for me, as somebody who cares, for me to focus on something else, I mean, it wouldn't be bad. I just don't feel it's appropriate. I feel actually, as I'm somebody who cares about animals, this is where I should put my focus. And I will ask that anybody who truly cares about animals and cares about the things we've spoken about, please give them more focus. If you're currently doing other stuff, please just take a bit of time out of your day and please move some of your efforts over here, because we really need you. They really need you.